First of all, we'll just get the canvas wet. I think I'm going to do kind of a, I want to do a light and dark, or all light. Might go all light for this. Okay, then I think I'm going to go kind of around here, then back over here, come all the way down there. Actually, what I think we might do is the whole, let's do the whole thing. And then we'll come in and overlay details. That might be easier for this particular idea I have. Let's see, that's on, that's on. Okay, making sure, yeah, I've got, I have windows open, I have the fan on. I have moved my lights. So I think, let me see what you guys are seeing. There's still one right on there. I'll have to figure out which one that is. But I got the other ones pointing. I'm pointing them all away from the canvas, so I don't know how one of them is still shining on there. Is a mystery to me. And I will try and figure out which one that is and point that also away from the canvas. I might have to brighten things up because I have the light facing away. It would be nice if I could point it into the room, but they're sort of, let's see, about, they're not really like you can adjust them 360. They're kind of one way or the other. So some of them, it was either pointing down at the canvas or back to the wall. So I elected for back to the wall. All right. And I think what we're going to do is let's fill this whole thing in, kind of with sky and reflection of sky, and then we'll add stuff on top. That's what I think we're going to do. Let's see, I just got a ding. Let me double check I'm okay here. According to this, I'm streaming pretty good. Don't see any problem there. Well, let's just press on then, shall we? Okay. Now, okay. What I'd like to get at is kind of a gentle sort of sunrise or sunset sort of look. So first we're just going to try that. So I'm going to try and get, maybe that'll be where my horizon line is, and then we'll come back in here underneath. Then we'll build outward from there, I guess. I don't have as much of this as I'd like, so we'll just I was going to mix more of this and I just didn't, as usual, did not get a chance. Put some up in there and some down in there. Okay, some orange. Is orange anywhere? Yeah, right here. Up in here as well. Look down in here. I'm thinking I'll do that swipe thing again, but I'm not entirely sure if I'll do that or do the blowout. I haven't 100% decided. Okay. The cap really stuck on there that time. Okay, well, yeah, that comes out no problem. Good. Alrighty. A little bit of that up in the corner there, a little bit down in there. And then maybe some more white in the corner, maybe up in here. A little bit of, oh, if we have lavender, I'll use a little lavender. I was going to do a blue gray, but since we have this, we'll just go ahead with that. Okay. And I like it's got some dry. The dried paint sometimes moves when you take the cap out. It's got dried paint on there, and then you can't get the cap back on there. There, that's better. All right, now a little bit of blue. Oh God, I should have cerulean around here somewhere. I think I'll probably use that. That's green. Oh, there's that dark green. I was looking for that this morning. I was going to mix more of it up, and I had no idea where it is. I put the pink next to there. Try and remember. And what was I looking for now? Cerulean. There's some blue. Some other blue. I think this might be the cerulean. There we go. I think I'll put maybe into this side. Oh boy, that did not shake up. There we go. Well, that's okay. That's kind of the watery part anyway. Okie doke. Swiper blow, huh? Always a tough decision. I'm going to put more white on there. I'm going to put more white in here in general. I want this part fairly light. I kind of like the blowing idea because I don't get my swipers dirty. I know that's a silly reason, but there we are. Oh, let's go. We can go ahead with the swiper. I'll swipe off each time. It will be fine. Just fine. Okay, which way do we want to go? I don't necessarily want to drag that blue. I think what I'm going to do is move this around and swipe towards me, and then we'll tilt a bit. Oof, that violet's doing funky town, as it tends to do. Okay, then I'm just going to turn it around. We've got a whole other pristine side here. Whoops, boy, that missed some. That's okay. Don't need to panic yet. We can panic. The time for panicking will come, but it doesn't have to be yet. I missed that again. I must be very light on paint on that spot. That's the only explanation I can think of. I'm going to add some back in here. It doesn't look like I maybe got the paint in here as I went down the way I should have done. I'll just mix that in there. That's all fine. All fine. I might do that across the top here too. A bit more in there. Actually, that works out pretty well. Let's try that again. Okay. Now let's just, first I like it for that. No, I'm not I don't think I like that funky breakage quite as much as you'd think. So I might get the blower out. But let's see on the, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to get the blower out rather than try and tilt that. And see if we can bring that the rest of the way home. Bring it home with that. It's kind of pretty, but I think I'd like to see what the blower does with that. Oh, that's on already. Well, it should be. Spot right there and right here. Two little spots. Let's see if we can use the other blower for that. I might have to add more paint on there. Yeah, there's no paint there at all. Let me add some more paint, and then we'll try blow out after I add some more paint. We'll pick out whatever. There's a lot of paint here on the side, so that is not an issue. Let's add some in there. Same thing, do that same color over here. We'll see if we can get enough in there to a nice pour thing going in there. Enough to blow it out. I don't want to see in there. Okay, I think it's just those two spots. Let's try the small guy. It's just this one spot I think on this side. I keep getting that little peak. There we go. One more little peak. I don't like the little peak. Alright, at least that's all covered. And it doesn't look too bad. My never-ending quest to have something that doesn't look too bad. Okay, I think that's okay. Okay, not too bad. I set very high standards here. Alrighty, oops. Little thing with my. Now, let's see if I feel this is still going to work for what I was thinking. I think so. I think so. What we want to do is mix up. So what we want to do is I want to kind of lay a landscape over this. And we're going to have maybe a line of trees here. But we're going to leave some areas open, and that'll be the water areas. So make sure you guys can still see okay. I think so. Looks a little dark now that I changed it, but you know, I think I'm going to leave it for now. Alright, I'm going to take that piece off. Look at this piece and this piece. See what we've got going on here. Alright, I like that and I like that. Just look at this one more time. Okay. Right. Let's mix. I'm going to just maybe mix a little bit of color. Let's get one of these. I've got plenty of these guys. I'm going to mix kind of a darkish color to start, and then maybe progressively lighten it. Trouble with my here it is. You know, if you guys can't get on here into chat and stuff, I cannot apologize more. I don't know. I take it something like that. Oh, hey, Dan. I'm glad you could get in. Right after I started, I got a ding, and I think it might have been Humor texting me, and I'm not sure why. I don't know if it said he couldn't get in or what the deal is. So I'm glad to see somebody could get in, because I was starting to feel like, maybe nobody can get into my chat today or into the stream. I moved my lights so we wouldn't have some so direct on there. I see we still have a few direct on there, but I think it's better than it was. It's hard to tell because the pour paint when it's wet is so glossy and shiny, and it's a little hard when if I'm just checking it to see if it's okay. It's a little hard to tell sometimes. That just looks blue. I wanted something that looked a little more. Yeah, it's basically at this point kind of a sky and a reflection of sky. So hopefully it'll work out okay. Hopefully in the end all will work out fine. Okay. Now what I'd like to do is maybe have a little bit. That's looking more the color I was thinking I wanted to get to. But somehow I just wasn't getting to. Maybe if I add a little bit of this yellow. Get something that was a little more to the green side. we have pretty good coverage there for the sky, like this above area. Then what I want to do is right around here, I want to start creating a horizon and then bring it down. What I want this to be, who knows what we'll end up with, but what I want it to end up sort of looking like is my friendly neighborhood lotus pond, which isn't really going yet, but we can all use our imaginations. Okay, so what I need for that is maybe, oh, okay, let me fix that. I probably bumped into it. Wait, full screen. From here it looks okay. How does that look better? Can you see the whole painting? Or you mean you can't see the whole? It could be that when you say it's not full screen, I have it a little bit cropped because if I make it full, then you can't see the painting, if that makes sense. So I was more interested, like, do I have it where you can see the whole painting, not where I fill the whole screen up, if that makes sense at all. Because to me it looks fine, but it could be that to you it does not. Okay. All right, that's when I paint portrait style, I can't really fill the screen out. When I do landscape, then I can fill the screen out. I don't know why I can't do it. It's one of those things. Just we just live with it the way it is. I don't know. I should get a different camera, I think. I mean, I've had this camera forever, you know. That's probably some of my problem. Okay, now I'm not sure if this was exactly the right choice. I'm going to go ahead and get some sticks, I think. I don't want to be throwing that color in there too much. Where's my other sticks? There's a stick. I have a whole new packet of sticks somewhere, but you know, you don't have to try and find them this second. I just bought some though, so I know they exist. I just don't know quite where they are. All right. Now, that looks like a nice color in general. So what I want to do at this point, I think, is commit where we're going to have the horizon line, which will probably be between these two areas right here, is where that would be. And then from here down we start the reflection of the sky, is how I'm looking at this. Okay. And then let's just build a bit. I'm not sure what I want to use to do that. I might put a little bit more paint, like a lighter color. I wanted to hold off a little bit on the trees, but on the other hand, it doesn't make... Oh, hey, you know, I was starting to get... I got a ding from you, but it looked like everything was streaming, so I was a little concerned you couldn't get into the stream, so I'm glad that you can. Okay, I was just kind of contemplating where we go from here. Alrighty, and how we get there. Where we want to go and how to get there. Those two things. Let's see here. Because I'm going to have like trees in the background. But I'd kind of like to save those and do those later. And kind of get in a little more of the details instead. So what we're going to do is over here-ish, have a bit of a, that will work out well for that. And here, and then we'll have a, the foreground. You know, I don't think I'm going to need this here, but since I have extra blue paint, I'm just going to fill in that one little corner there where it didn't get any paint. Might as well just kludge that in there. Oh, lovely. About going to the park. I didn't know you were doing anything that ambitious today. Good on you. Let's get. Actually, don't use these. I'm gonna get a paper cut. The reason is with a paper cut, I can squeeze it to pour out in a more controlled manner. No mass anywhere, humor. That's just a sign of the times. Okay, now let's try. I'm going to try in general, I think, to just do a general form of what we want to see with this water. Because I want it to kind of be filled in some places but not others. So I think I'll just come in here and just sort of fill this in. What do I want to do first? First we maybe come along here, right here where there's nothing. I'm going to fill it in with this green and come in here with this green a bit. And then maybe come up there like that. And then, I want this to be all green here. Maybe down in here. So kind of come along in there. And then over in here, sort of same thing. I'm running out of paint. Yeah, a little bit more paint in there. Oh, nice. You know, it was gorgeous out this morning when I went for my walk, so no complaints. But now it's a little cloudy. It's supposed to rain tomorrow, I think. So it looks like it's heading in that general direction. Okay, let's try and come. I want to look at what I'm doing as well. Just come along in here. Leave all that, and maybe over in here a little bit more, and over down in here a little bit more. Okay. Just take this, whoop. It's moving that upward. I don't want to move that upward. Move these out of the way. I tried moving my lights around Humor to where it wouldn't be so glary on the screen, so hopefully I have some success with that. Just kind of fill this in here. Yes, I do. I haven't been wearing one myself for allergies. My allergies, it's weird, they're not bothering me the same way they usually do. I did wake up coughing a lot from the postnasal drip that I get with it, but I don't have, like some years it's been so bad I feel like my throat's closing up and stuff. I haven't had that so much this year. So I haven't been wearing a mask when I've been walking. But yeah, you do. At least in my neck of the woods, which is the grass seed capital of the world, I think, because they boast. Which I didn't know I had problems with grass allergies, or I probably would have maybe wondered about my decision to move here if I had known that. But I had no idea I suffered from those until I actually moved here. I mean, I had some hay fever in California, but I thought it was ragweed. It's probably grass seed there too. It's just we didn't have as much, you know. And then what did I put in here? Something else, another little thing. And what I was going to do is in the front here do some bigger ones. Not right now, the second, but in general. sort of mix that in there. This is a wee bit of an ambitious project to try with pour paint, but I wanted to do it anyway. Okay. It's a little bit more, it's a little too open there. I still don't get my feeling of, what I want to get a feeling of is kind of less water and more grasses, but we can just keep filling in as much as we want on that. I'm not sure if I want to try blowing those areas out. Yeah, that could be too, humor. Mixed a little pink there, and we'll try and just fill that in. It does. No, definitely. And as you all know, because I have bored you to tears numerous times, I had a mask for allergies well before there was such a thing as COVID that I would wear. I timed it usually Mother's Day to 4th of July, which we're getting to as a loose thing. But generally speaking, it was when I could see the big puffs come out, the big like powder puff looking things. That's usually when I needed to start wearing it. And this year I've been walking through those powder puff things, you know, like a normal person. I don't know why it's different this year. I wanted to do a little more. A difference. So you have some things that are like the, now here we could just do almost more like that could just be background foliage almost. You could think of that way. I just wanted to do that. And here, I'll do like a big pile here. And here, got more grasses. They're actually from trees, you murd. One of the trees we have here stands up, and I don't know that that's what I'm allergic to, or if it's just that that's the time when the grass seed is also going. So I don't know, but I've always associated it with seeing those puffy things come down from the trees. That's when I need to start thinking about it. Let's pour a little bit of this in here. This will be great for the bigger trees back in here, I'm sure. Oops, a couple of dots in there. Along in here too, just along in the bottom here. probably should have a little bit in the backgrounds here, but at that point things start kind of meshing, so they don't necessarily show up as much. So we won't put as much in there. Then I'll probably come back in there. That's there, so it can stay. I might come back with that puffy thing as well. Puff some of this out here. Not sure that's quite what I wanted. First, I'm going to try the puffer and just sort of smooth things out a little bit with that. I sort of closed off between those two. That's fine. Originally I was going to do all sort of lotuses in front, so we'll go with that. Okay. I'm trying to put that on the ground softly. Okay, well, maybe we'll go ahead. I've got all this dark green paint. Let's go ahead and add some of those trees in there I was going to add. So do I want to use that one for trees or this one? I think this one. Okay. Put a big tree here. A big tree coming up there. Do this sort of tree first and come back in and do the other types of trees. Actually, I think I'll bring that all the way up in here. Morning I made it down to the woodland to see what was going on there, but we're kind of in between on the woodland. There's some larkspur still left, but of course all the fawn lilies and checkered lilies and that are gone. They've all faded away, and so we're sort of waiting for the I think the Columbia lilies, the ones that look like little tiger lilies, I think they come next, so we'll be waiting on those. I always like to get down there and see, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, we found a show on Archive, Dan, called Rutland Weekend Television, which is, I guess, a show that Eric Idle did after Monty Python and before the Ruddles. It's kind of where the Ruddles kind of got its start. But there's 2 seasons of that. And so it's sketch comedy. It's very much like the Python style of comedy. So he did not veer too far from it for that one. So that we've been watching that. That was interesting. When I say we've been watching, we watched the first one at lunch today. but it was interesting. Now this one I want to fill in a little more. I want this a little darker. Yes, Neil Innes as well. Or Innes, I don't know how to say his name, but yes, he's in it as well. They're both in it. I think he was in the Ruddles as well. Now this one I want a little more filled in. If I get enough of a start on this and I put it aside, I'd like to finish that other painting we were working on last time. It doesn't have much to go. I want to do a couple more trees and some birds, I think. That's about it. Now this one's kind of behind that foliage. I'll have to make that more obvious. And this tree looks a little bit more, like I said, a little fuller, more like a little puffball. Oh, last night I went out to refill the bird feeder, and I was looking on the ground to make sure there wasn't a skunk, which there wasn't, but I totally didn't see there was a raccoon, and she was sitting on top of the bird feeder, so I scared her and she scampered off. I felt bad. Hopefully she came back later in the night to get something. But in all fairness, or for what it's worth, there wasn't really anything there for her to eat until I went out there anyway, because they picked it pretty clean, so I figure if she came back, she was in for a nice surprise. But I hadn't seen a raccoon in ages. The skunk has been coming non-stop. I don't know if it's her season or what her deal is, but she's been there a lot. But not so much the raccoons. But, you know, I always feel bad if I scare them, you know. I never mean to. Yes. Oh, there were in that same in the same files you mean, or just that same uploader? Because he seemed to have a lot of, seemed to almost pride himself on like rare and unusual Eric Idle, probably Eric Idle / Neil Innes things. I'm gonna mix these two a little bit. I'll go back to that. Oops. Well, there we go. That's in there now. Oh yes, yeah, they do. You know, it's just been probably a while since she saw me. I mean, she just reacted to the door being open, not to me in particular. But the noise from the door, because I went, you know, just blundering out there. I didn't realize she was there, so I wasn't trying to be, you know, carefully opening the door and stuff the way I might have done otherwise. Just went out there in my big old blundering way. And what I wanted to do here is sort of build this up, but a little more, not like these trees, maybe a little more distant, in different colors. Just fill all that in with foliage of some kind. Back in here, it should have foliage kind of even behind there. It should have done. Think about it. It's got some behind it here. That's good. Just sort of. I might try and get the blower out, but I don't want to risk blowing these other trees. They shouldn't be blown, but these it might benefit. Let's see if I can do those bushes without disturbing anything else. I think it was, I thought it was post-Python, but pre-Ruddles is what I thought it was, humoured. Like maybe his project he did after Python, but before he did the Ruddles, is what I thought. Not that I'm correct in any way, nor do I even want to imply that I might be correct. Let's just come in and get that on there a bit. I'm going to try and use this up because I want to remix something else in there. I'll reshape those trees, this particular tree maybe in a minute. I should have put these down first. I thought I had enough layer of bushes, but when I looked I really didn't. What I probably need is something else, some other implement for this, and then we'll put in some fresh branches down there. I think I might get a little piece of bubble wrap. Oh, the sun's out now. It's a little brighter. Oh, that's cheery. Let's just mix this up this way. Lay it down. I'm not able to lay it out and pick it back up. Maybe I'm just going to go do this here, and then I want to lay those branches back on top. I kind of goofed it up. I'm going to do the same thing here a little bit. Okay. That would work here too. Let's see if we're doing this. I'm not sure that will work here quite to the same extent. Softens it a bit. Alrighty, let's see here. Right now, let me come back in here and let's get that darker paint. I'll kind of relayer these darker branches on there. And there's some across here too. Might need to fix this a little bit after it dries more. This one actually did okay even with the blowing. It did all right, I think. That did a little better. And then this one, what I'd like to do is maybe get some other colors, like some, maybe just some orange. It looks a little bit like Japanese maple, so maybe some orange and some I just don't open the door, so I look out the window to see if I see the skunk, which I did, and then I wait to go out until there's no skunk. If I do see them, yeah, you just kind of slowly walk away. They have very poor vision unless you're right up there. So if you're still pretty far away, they don't know you're there. You have to really try and get up there in their face before they know you're there. So they're actually not that hard to avoid, but they're always on the ground. They don't climb. So I looked on the ground to see if he was there, and he wasn't. He, she, I think it's a she. I think it might be the reason I'm seeing her so much is because she's probably going to have a little skunk soon. So I looked for her and then didn't see her, so I figured it was safe to go out there, and then heard clatter, clatter, clatter as the raccoon went running off. Poor thing. Well, you know, no one likes to see me come running up there, that's for sure. Can't say as I blame them. Let's put some little, like, what would be, I guess, like Japanese maple trees or something over here. We're gonna call them. Get more of a form than anything else. It's a little more dark red than what I was thinking I was doing, but that's okay. I can deal with that. Take this So yeah, once you know that they have that bad eyesight, that helps a lot to just helps you in your strategy to avoiding them. And they're even pretty pretty mellow. You know, they've got a bad reputation, but you know, I've seen them out there just sitting there having the snacks right next to the raccoon or next to a deer or something. You know, if nothing looks threatening to them, they just sort of stay there and don't worry about it. But not a chance I want to take. But I'm not as afraid of them as I might be other creatures. It's not like we have bobcats or something back there, or cougars or something, you know. There's coyotes not too far away, but I've never seen one knock wood in the yard. We've had the foxes, they come, but we haven't had any major predators in the yard. The neighborhood dogs are probably the worst thing we get. Okay. That's actually kind of a pretty little maple tree back there. And then, okay, I think what I'd like to do, I wonder if a fork would work. I'm not sure it would. Kind of make some little grassy sort of things in here. Actually, that doesn't not work, should we say. More of a grassy sort of area. That's not too unbelievable. I wanted this to be kind of all grassy sort of stuff back in here. I kind of lost my flow of my water a little bit, but it's okay. Those are coming out a little thicker than what I want. Let's do a little bit in here. What I was thinking I'd like to do, it's probably good enough for the background. Oh, I got all that. That's all red now from the maple trees. That's okay. I might use that for something else. What I wanted to do was get an idea of these lotuses. That's actually probably okay, really. To do then, I might get a secondary cup. We're really going through the cups today. Actually, for that, I'm gonna get one of these shallow ones because I don't think I'll need a whole lot. Let's get maybe a little actual red. I'm thinking. I want some white. I don't think skunks are herbivores. I think they're omnivores. I think they eat kind of whatever. I believe. Could be totally off base. Would not be the first time. Just start dotting this. We'll do that with all this dark. actually, I didn't want to get into it for fear of grossing you guys out. But we had gosh, I think it was a bird had died in the yard, but I hadn't had a chance to bury it, and a skunk came and carried it off. Had that happen with a grump as well. So he was quite excited about it. Which I did not mind at all. Saved me having to deal with it, so you know, fine. The gray squirrels, and of course men, they don't seem to eat anything like that. But the grumps and the skunks have a bit of a taste of things. Good one, Dan. Let's see here. Trying to get the feeling of this. I think we're doing okay. Oops. That's quite a large one there, boy. Here they look more like just little dots. And here they start having a little more, too much of that green and back in the pink. Yeah, exactly, humor. So I don't think they hunt, but I think if there's something, sort of sitting there, they don't have much qualms about grabbing it. Like, ooh, what a taste tempting delight this is, which is just fine with me. Like I said, saved me the trouble of bearing it, and I had no objection whatsoever to that. They were more than welcome. I'd like to maybe come up here, get above this. This would be like a bigger area. Doesn't show along with that light pink. Not against that orange. Oh, that almost looks like a big one sitting right there. With have to put some stems in. These lotuses sit way up. They're not like water lilies that sit right on the against the water there. They are up on stalks. Let's get a little of that color in there. And this color in there too. Oops. Oh, I guess we're going to have a great big one right here because I just dropped some paint right there. I dropped a drop in there. What I want to do is kind of drop it in there and then I'll sort of form it later. Trouble with forming it as I go is then I'm dragging that green paint right back in there. And I'll just drop some on here and then we'll go with it from there. You know, and just drop it random places like I just did as well. Why not? To go back in and put some centers in later. I'm thinking. It'd be a little hard to do that now. Actually, it wouldn't be that hard. That one I left a center in there already. Do that here too, I think. Kind of a strange place for one that I put one in there. And I just messed that up, but I don't know that that matters that much. Yes. It is very nice. It's not blooming yet. This is a photo from last year. It blooms, they bloom late summer, like end of June. I first saw this one in July, and it was kind of in full force, but was, in a sense, I guess, sort of ending as I saw it even. I'm still looking into getting like some mini lotuses, because that's apparently a thing people can get. Yeah, this wasn't here when I moved here. It was like a park with a big pond in it. Yeah, but it flowed to the creek, and there was all this trouble with the creek, you know, that was polluting the creek. So they naturalized it, and they did a really nice job, including putting in a lotus pond. So I could not have been more surprised when I walked down there. It had been a long time. I didn't go there so much. I didn't go there so much over COVID because it does get a little more crowded, you know, than Mary's River does. But I was walking with my friend, you know, my neighbor across the street, and so we went a little further, and nothing could have surprised me more. So I go now and then to see if it looks like anything's happening yet, and not so far. I wonder if I want to try and drag something for stems, or if I want to put like a swiper in and do it that way. I might want to do some tones that haven't paid any attention. Let's try swiper first, I'm gonna say. Is that enough? It might be. I don't like that much stem. So let's just put some stems in here. Then we'll worry about how they come down in a minute. Boy, that does not want to stem up there. I'm just wanting to show that dark color. Maybe I should have Stopped periodically for this as it was, but. And they can be, you know, then the leaves can come in over them, but they should all have some degree of stem. Like I said, they kind of rise up out of the water. Well, they don't kind of rise up out, they rise up out of the water. Darn it, I should be more clear that's what they're doing. But they can rise up in the midst of all the other, you know, leaves and stuff. Their leaves are huge, absolutely huge, much bigger than what I would have thought from just seeing pictures. And that's somewhat interesting. Oh, where's that other color? What sort of color look? Let's put that in as sort of the centers. The fruit of the lotus, which is edible. Not that I would try eating it, but it is edible. Should probably be a little bit more yellow and a little less brown. Let's see if we can do that. See if I can add a little yellow on top. We should do that with an implement. Oops, I took the wrong color. Should have done this the other way. They kind of have these little dots in them in the centers. And then that forms the seed pods later. We'll also do a couple of those, I think. So that's my plan. Oops, didn't get much. I had the brown a little thick, so we didn't get so much of the yellow. Yes, I walked in expecting to see kind of the normal pond I'd always seen, and I saw the pink color first. And I went, wow, that's a lot of pink on that pond. And as I got closer, I realized it was a lotus pond now, and boy was I excited. Still am. Looking very much forward when it comes back. I've even gone to check on it several times to see. And you know, this is something I never understood before, like my temple bell that I have hanging up. I think you brought a painting of it down, my temple bell. It was lotus was the pattern, and I couldn't figure out why it was supposed to be a lotus. When the seed pods dry, that's the shape they are. They look just like a temple bell. And I didn't know why it was called, because to me I'd only ever seen pictures of lotus flowers, and I didn't know that that's what the seed pods look like. So there's some trivia for you on your painting there. Centering that one too. Yeah, so so they look just like a bell sitting there. Just sort of like where these are, and kind of just put the water around it like that. This one part looks a little odd to me. I'm tempted to put some green or something in there. Excuse me, my stupid glasses. Okay. Let's get maybe some greens back in there. And I'll just mix it in there a bit. That would work. Should be able to do this now. We'll get to where I can't, where it'll just pull the paint up if it's too dry, but I think we're okay. Yeah, we're okay for the moment. Put a little bit over there. the flowers could use a little bit more definition, but we might want to do that after it dries because, you know, there's only so much I can do with the pour paint. I need to drag that green through there. Sort of lost a little bit. It came out of there. Get back in there. Actually, this is, you know, it's coming along. I'm not going to say it's not coming along. Pink and water there. Okay. If we took, I still have way more. You know what? This dark green paint would go very nice with that dark green I still need to mix up. I'm just going to pour that in there because I've got way more than I need. I was thinking those trees and that would take a lot more than I did. And that's all the less I have to mix later. Oh, how pretty. Yeah, these were all pink. Which I guess I would consider kind of the normal color for lotuses. I don't know. If there's a normal color, I would consider it that. Oh, that's a wrong green. It's the green I just mixed, isn't it? I wanted this green, the bright green. Maybe a touch of this one. Mix that up there. Actually, I'd like to do even some seed pods. I don't know if I can quite pull those off. For now, I just want to do maybe some leaves. Little dot of paint in my lotus. I don't need to do that. I'm not sure what I was aiming for with that. I was aiming for doing a leaf, but I don't know that I pulled it off. I'm going to try and get that little dot out there. Yep, we can do it. Good. Sure that I can quite pull off what I want to do here. What I want to do is give some more, it just got a little boring in here, so I wanted to just add something to where it would look a little bit more like leaves in the lotus pond. Big old leaves like they have in it. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze just so you guys know. Is that a false alarm sneeze or a real sneeze? Can't tell anymore. I think it's a false alarm sneeze. Okay. I'm tempted to put some